Sergeant Major retired Todd Parisi served 28 years in the United States Marines. He was an infantryman, combat sniper team leader, staff non-commissioned officer in charge of the Scout Sniper School, and director of the Leadership Academy, senior enlisted advisor to the Theater Crisis Response Force, along with many other billets and assignments. He retired inside the top 100 senior enlisted Marines for the United States Marine Corps. He has served 4 combat tours overseas and multiple other extended deployments. He received the Legion of Merit and Bronze Star Medal, along with many other medals and awards for service in a combat theater. He holds a BA in Organizational Management and is the author of the book, From Where I Stand. Todd has 3 children and 1 grandchild. Without further ado, Todd Parisi.
Well, that's pretty cool. I don't know what I got to do now. I already got a round of applause, so I'm already kind of in there like swimwear. You know, it's awesome. I guess I'm not used to being a Marine, being on the B team. So I'm the backup guy. I'm the B team to the Navy SEAL, which is awesome because SEALs are absolutely amazing. It's awesome to be here. You know, I had a dream near 3 a.m. that crashed into my night. A multitude of warriors standing in full sight. And on their anguished faces were grim and hateful glares. They wore military blouses, yet all they did was stare. I saw the wounds of Bella Wood, I saw the scars of Guam. The dead were there from Heartbreak Ridge and a company from Vietnam. Then one spoke up and asked me a question loud and strong. How can they burn the flag we died for? How can it not be wrong? I did not have the answers to ease his angry pain. I could only give excuses for a country gone insane. I saw that flag in Iwo just before I died. I saw the lead pole lifted where the flag was safely tied. It may just be a symbol that flies above our graves, but let it be a symbol of what these warriors before you gave. And with that, the dream was over, and I woke with fear and shame to think a fool could trample the flag that bears their name. Well, I tell you that to tell you this. First of all, you know, I did almost 30 years wearing the nation's fabric for this great nation and the most fierce and magnificent fighting organization on the face of the planet. And there's no one going to tread on that flag or burn that flag as long as I'm vertical. And I'm sure it's the same thing for each and every one of you. Before I get started and run on my suit cooler here, I'd like to ask that we take a brief moment, if it's okay, to pay respect and homage to the loved and lost, those that have given the last and supreme full measure of devotion, those that have given their life for this great nation so that glorious red, white, and blue can continue to shout, snap, and scream in the breeze. Long may it wave, long may it wave. So if we could take a few seconds just to pause and to remember those that have given their lives along with their families, that would be absolutely awesome. Boom, thank you very much. I'd like to take a quick moment as well as how many folks in here have served in the armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard, Air Guard. Could you please stand briefly? You know what's even more awesome is it's a testament to y'all's character. That I was getting ready to say, could we give them a round of applause, and you didn't even need that prompt, because that's the type of folks that you are, and that's absolutely awesome. So it's important to recognize, you know, those that do what they do. Good morning. It's awesome to be here. I'm excited, I'm fired up. I'll tell you first and foremost, as a motivational speaker, and that might be an overstatement, as a knuckle-dragging Marine who just had a dream of wanting to get people fired up. This morning, my largest civilian audience I've ever talked to. You know, I've talked to some very, very powerful organizations, you know, but never of such a mass of awesomeness like this consolidated in one space, so I'm very excited about that. I want to thank Jerry. Where's Jerry at? I want to thank Jerry for that awesome introduction and for allowing me the humble ability to operate in this battle space with each and every one of you just for a little while. And I hope that I bring something to you that you can utilize and that's worthy of your time, and that you can maybe tie into your network of ideas and concepts, put in your toolbox to do whatever you need to do. Maybe it at least even help you be a better father or a better brother or whatever. You know, we all should be striving to constantly find things that improve the quality of our existence. It's our responsibility to work and grow. But I want to thank Jerry for the opportunity, for the trust faith and confidence in the fidelity he has in me. You know, I asked Jerry when we first started talking, I didn't know him face to face. I said, Jerry, can you tell me a little bit about this group? He said, oh, hell yeah, heck yeah, Todd, I'm sorry about that. He said, this group is highly motivated, truly dedicated, high-styling, profiling, still smiling, hard-charging, fire-breathing, meat-eating, bone-crushing, spine-shattering, skull-smashing, great American carnivorous gladiators who hit their goals and dreams and aspirations, their jobs, and the competition so hard they smack the flesh clean off the bones, crush the bones into powder, and pick the outlet out of your teeth with the shards left over. Can I get a witness? That's right, yeah, we found it today. Boom, that's what he said. And the skies opened up and the heaven roared, and I said, boom, shakalaka, boom. That's what I'm talking about. I'm on that like King Kong. I'm on that like Oprah and Twinkie. You know what I'm talking about? I was fired up. Isn't that the conversation we had, Jerry?
That's right.
I mean, I might be slightly paraphrasing, but you know, the bottom line is he was fired up, he was proud, and he was excited, and I was excited too. And I think that's a lot of it. You know, I think everything that I talk about today is urgently important to try to tie into the concept of what I call Rise Above Revolution 2017. A lot of people sleepwalk through life. Heck, I was one of them. Just kind of like a zombie, really not totally embracing the power of the thrill of each and every day. 86,400 seconds. One time, one trip, one opportunity to get it right. The best we possibly can. Revolution 2017 to me means it's a commitment here today in this moment that we bang our fists on the table and say, you know what, I'm on board, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I want to make this the absolute best year ever of my life, and then build on that. Does that mean chaos, mayhem, and havoc and lunacy aren't going to be about? Does that mean, you know, that bad things aren't going to happen? Absolutely, stuff's going to happen, nothing's going to change. But the bottom line is it's your vantage point of how you operate. It's your way you look at things is what changes. What can I influence, what I can't? Give up what you can't, and put all your power and energy into the things that you can change and influence. And do your best to do that. But it's your mental vantage point. It's where you put yourself. It's a positive mental attitude. It's something that sounds so cliche, but you know what? I've found in almost 30 years in the Corps, leading Marines in peace and more in peril, that it's the mindset with which how we view things. And I'll tell you a couple brief stories that you have to have the right mindset just to survive. That positive mental attitude is urgent. I don't care if you take a sticky, put it on a mirror where you brush your tooth in the morning, and you're in there, you know, scraping your face. The first thing you see is PMA. Positive mental attitude. Boom, it's a reminder that, hey, I'm going to start this day with a great attitude. No matter what happens, I'm going to respond in a favorable nature. I'm going to turn a negative into a positive. I'm going to be undefeatable, unbeatable, unstoppable, undeniable. I'm going to be victorious at all costs. I'm the rabid dog pit bull that doesn't just latch onto the thigh. I don't latch on until the teeth touch the bone. I latch on until the teeth touch teeth through the bone. Then I spit it out and move on to the next thing. And that's what we need to do, that positive reinforcement, aggressive, undeterred, determined, committed, just rabid dog pit bull approach to life. And let nothing or no one stand in your way. And I'm telling you, when you get those victories and those successes behind you, nothing will stop you. Enthusiasm is important. As a leader or as an operator, no matter where you are, we should all strive to be leaders. Enthusiasm is important. If I'm walking with my head down and all depressed and making no eye contact and not being a part of the solution, you know what, I'm just another day part of the problem. But if I'm fired up, if I got a positive attitude and I got some enthusiasm, genuine enthusiasm, sincere, and I'm excitable. R.W. Emerson says the world belongs to the energetic. Get excited about your existence. Don't just rush through the day and say, I can't wait till this day's over, I can't wait till this week's over. We're all living and we're all dying. And you know what, we only get one ride on this thing. So we have to absolutely make it the best we possibly can. Be excitable, be fired up, be supercharged. As a leader, it's your responsibility to kind of set the climate and conditions on the ground for your organization. If a bunch of people are wandering aimlessly through the impact of their life and don't care and are doing marginal work, guess what? That's your fault. You're the one that sets the conditions on the ground as a whole. So this is very, very important. Inspiration is a key element to leadership. Open yourselves up to be inspired. A lot of people go through life and they're really not really taking it in. They're just kind of going like mice in a maze, just back and forth, doing what they need to do, but they're really not breathing it in. They're really not carpe diem, seizing the day. I can, I will, I must. They're really not hungry like that cheetah that we're going to talk about who's licking his lips looking for breakfast. You have to open yourselves up to be inspired. In my opinion, and again, everything that I talk about is my opinion, what I've seen, done, what I've heard, stories, quotes, parables, whatever. It's not to insult you to say, hey, all I'm saying is what I've seen work, what works for me, what has worked in some of the most difficult circumstances human beings can possibly be put in. At that point, at that junction, you make the decision. You decide That's what's great about a free nation. You decide whether it's something that you utilize or weave in or network into your DNA composition or put in your toolbox or not. I think I'm giving you some of the answers to the test. I'm battle hardened and experienced, and I'm not by any means anything special, but I have learned some things through those circumstances that I believe can benefit others, and I'd be foolish and selfish not to want to share them. And I believe you'd be foolish and selfish not to want to consider them. That's the whole idea, is opening up your mind to the possibilities of maybe something that can enhance my existence or that of my employees or my family. I think it's very important. So open yourselves up to be inspired. I think that's a huge, big deal. I know personally I pull a lot of strength, a lot of power, a lot of times when I'm like my head kind of starts to go down a little bit, I think about certain things that lift me up and say, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going out like that. That's not how this story's going to end. I'm not putting a period at the end of the sentence. I'm putting like 5 exclamation points. This is how that's going to go down. Ronald Reagan, former president of the United States, in his inauguration speech in 1981, he said, if we look to the answers as to why for so many years we've achieved so much, prospered like no other people on earth, it was because here in this land, we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man that has never been done before. Freedom and the individual dignity have been made more available and assured here than any other place on earth. The price for that freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Some say we're living in a time where there are no heroes. They just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with their row upon row of simple white markers, bearing crosses or stars of David, that up to only a tiny fraction of the price that has been paid for our freedom. Their lives ended in places called Bella Wood, the Argonne, Omaha Beach, Salerno, Port Chop Hill, and halfway around the world at Guadalcanal, the Chosin Reservoir, and hundreds of rice paddies and jungles of a place called Vietnam. Under one such marker lies a man, Martin Treptow, who left his home in a small-town barbershop in 1917 to go serve with the famed Rainbow Division. There in the Western Front, he was killed, trying to deliver a message between battalions on the ground under heavy artillery fire. We're told that found on his body was a diary, and inside the cover of the heading, My Pledge, he had written these words: America must win this war. Therefore I will serve, I will save, I will sacrifice. I will endure. I will fight cheerfully and give my utmost as if the whole issue of the entire struggle depended on me alone. We realize that what we're facing today does not require the level of sacrifice of what Martin Treptow and there's so many other countless thousands are called to make. But what it does require, however, what it demands, is that we give our absolute best, that we believe in ourselves, and we believe in our capacity to achieve magnificent things, and that we believe that we can and will, with God's help, achieve greatness after all. Why shouldn't we believe that? We are Americans. Are we proud to be Americans here this morning, ladies and gentlemen? I've had the opportunity to speak to 165 veteran Marines, far more accomplished than I could ever hope to be. And what such an honor. I had the opportunity to stand on the deck of John F. Kennedy and watch 300 Normandy veterans assemble, something that'll never, ever happen again. Blue skies, F-18s flying over, city silhouette in the background, service flag snapped in the breeze, and the Boston Police Department playing the service hymns on the bagpipes. Electric. I had the opportunity to be the personal guest of General Hal Moore and Joe Galloway. The Adriatic Valley Reunion, which was the first great battle of the Vietnam War. And if you saw the movie We Were Soldiers, that's what that's modeled after. Humbling beyond words. The reason I mentioned a few of these things that are very, very meaningful to me is because the same exhilarating, supercharged, electrified, fired up, highly motivated, truly dedicated, excited feeling I get in those moments of being associated with those great Americans is the same thrill and honor and pride that I feel having the thrill ability to be in this space with each and every one of you. I think we look at that excerpt by Ronald Reagan of Martin Treptow, and there's so much to be extracted from that. I think there's two vantage points we need to look at today. Not only the Revolution 2017 mindset, we look at us as individuals, and then look at us ourselves as leaders, kind of two different things. And I think when Martin Treptow left home and did what he did, and served how he did, and what ended up ultimately happening,